Welcome back. I'm Sarah Hamilton. Here's a look at some of the top stories we're following. Secret Service agents shot and killed a man after he opened fire near the White House, and the cause of death has been revealed for one of NASCAR's most accomplished drivers. Locally, an MBTA train struck and killed a 58-year-old man last Saturday, plus a look at Braintree's annual Memorial Day ceremony held this past weekend. Also ahead, multiple acts of vandalism at a local high school and a South Shore chef who is making waves on national television. Welcome to Braintree Today. A man was shot and killed by Secret Service agents after opening fire near the White House last Saturday. Officials say the suspect pulled a weapon from a bag and began firing at officers, who returned fire and struck him. The man, later identified as 21-year-old Nasir Best, was taken to a hospital where he died. A bystander was also hit by gunfire, though it's unclear whether that injury was caused by the suspect or during the exchange with police. No Secret Service personnel were injured. The president was at the White House at the time but was not harmed. Authorities say the incident remains under investigation. House Republicans have delayed a vote on a measure that would limit U.S. military action in Iran. The vote, originally scheduled for last Thursday, was postponed after lawmakers expected the resolution could pass. The measure would require the president to seek congressional approval before carrying out additional strikes, except in cases of imminent threats. Support for the resolution has grown even among some Republicans, as concerns rise over the war's impact on global energy prices. Under current law, a president can exchange in military action for up to 60 days without congressional approval. Lawmakers are now expected to take up the vote when they return from the Memorial Day recess on June 2nd. NASCAR driver Kyle Busch died last week at the age of 41, and now his family has revealed his cause of death. In a statement, they said Busch died from severe pneumonia that progressed into sepsis, leading to rapid and overwhelming complications. Pneumonia is a serious lung infection, and sepsis is a life-threatening response to infection that can cause organ failure. Busch was one of the most accomplished drivers in NASCAR history, winning 234 races across the sport's 3 national series, more than any driver ever. He is survived by his wife Samantha and their 2 children. Family members and fans are remembering him for both his success on the track and his impact off of it. Another auto recall has been announced that could impact hundreds of thousands of vehicles. Hyundai is recalling more than 421,000 vehicles due to a software issue that could cause the car to break unexpectedly. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, a problem with the front camera system may cause the vehicle's automatic braking feature to activate without warning. Hyundai says it has received hundreds of reports of the issue, including a small number of crashes and injuries, but no deaths have been reported. The recall includes certain 2025 and 2026 models of the Santa Cruz and Tucson, including hybrid and plug-in hybrid versions. Owners will begin receiving notification letters by July 17th. Hyundai says the issue can be fixed with a free software update at dealerships. Drivers can also check if their vehicle is included by visiting the NHTSA website. The U.S. Surgeon General is warning about the risks of too much screen time, especially for young children. A new advisory says excessive time spent on phones, tablets, and TVs can lead to poor sleep, lower academic performance, and less physical activity. Experts also say too much screen time can increase feelings of isolation and impact mental health. For younger children, early exposure may also affect development, including language skills and behavior. Health officials say more research is needed, but they are urging families to be mindful and limit screen time when possible. Thanks for watching Braintree Today. We'll be right back with more after the break.
I'm Mayor Erin Joyce, and I'd like to tell you about some important projects we're working on here in Braintree to improve the quality of our local water bodies and to protect our town from the dangers of flooding and stormwater runoff. Stormwater runoff is the water generated from rain and snowmelt that flows over hard surfaces and does not soak into the ground. Stormwater runs through a system of pipes in the street and into our local water bodies, such as the Cochado River, Farm River, Manatequit River, and Sunset Lake. In Braintree, we have a separate sewer system. So what does that mean? That means that there are actually 2 separate pipes in most streets that carry stormwater and sanitary sewer separately. So when it rains and water washes into our catch basin system, it ties into the stormwater system, which transports water to our water bodies. Over the past 5 years, the town of Braintree has been working hard to maintain and improve our stormwater drainage systems. Now, we're constructing retrofits to the drainage system. These drainage retrofits use the natural process of infiltration to improve water quality and reduce potential flooding in our neighborhoods. At Plain Street Cemetery, we're constructing a bioretention basin. What that is right before the water, which today runs piped to the Manatequit River. This project intercepts that pipe before it goes and discharges into the river. And it creates a place for the water to go first, which is the bioretention basin. And in that basin, plants and engineered soils will filter the water so that that water that's coming off of the neighborhood right now, unfiltered, untreated, will be collected into a rain garden, and that provides a lot of pollution control before the water ultimately makes it to the Manatequit River.
I'm Rachel Horak. I live here in Braintree, and I'm the president of Sustainable Braintree. We think of ways that we can help our residents of Braintree live healthier lives that are in better harmony with our planet. Bioretention basin at the cemetery site is part of an overall project to expand the Braintree Cemetery. And this project will not impact current burial sites, nor will it impact future burial sites. After the bioretention basin is constructed, we add native plants that help filter out the pollutants so that the water is a little bit cleaner. Some of the ways that residents can help are reduce the amount of fertilizers that you use on your lawn, picking up pet waste, reducing the amount of garbage in our streets, and also raking the catch basins that you might see on the roadways.
To pay for these projects, we're leveraging grants from the Mass DEP, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, and the Metropolitan Area Planning Council. As a Braintree resident, you should know that the town is actively working on projects that help improve the water quality in our water bodies. With your help and these projects, we will help filter pollution and keep Braintree's rivers, lakes, and streams beautiful for years to come.
Welcome back to Braintree Today. I'm Sarah Hamilton. Now we'll be getting into more stories. The town hosted its annual Memorial Day ceremony on Sunday, May 24th at the Garden of Honor at Blue Hill Cemetery. Despite the rain, officials say the event brought the community together to remember and pay tribute to fallen service members. Here's more from the keynote speaker, John Olivier.
It's very nice to see you all here today. Can you hear me? Is that loud enough? As George said, I arrived in Vietnam in 1968. As was my custom, arrived at the wrong place at the wrong time, just in time. The Tet Offensive broke out the day I arrived, and I think that they celebrated my arrival. I don't know. Luckily for me, I met two of the most incredible young men I've ever met in my life. My first two squad leaders, David Fielding from Santa Barbara, California, and Jesse James Palmer from Houston, Texas. Luckily for me, because I think if it wasn't for them, I might not be here right now today. The first thing I learned from Dave Fielding was that he was on a one-man goodwill tour of Vietnam. He had somehow forgotten that he was a leader of a 12-man squad of combat infantrymen with M16 rifles, because every time he moved into a village, he would disappear for within about 10 minutes, and you could find him eating lunch with the Vietnamese peasants. And he really enjoyed associating with them, and they loved having him. He would often bring his candy bars from the sea rations and give the kids, obviously, that. And his parents also, they would send him clothes every couple of weeks, sometimes more frequently, and he would give the Vietnamese children the clothing. I remember leaving a village once. The only clothing some of the kids had on was the particular piece that he had given them. Young kids about 6 years old with just undershorts on and T-shirts. He kind of left his mark everywhere he went. He never lost his compassion, and that's what I remember most about David Fielding. And David Fielding's replacement, Jesse James Palmer from Houston, Texas, a black soldier. He was now the squad leader, and he was sergeant, so they had to obey him. Plus the fact that he was aiming the M16 rifle out, that had something to do with that too. Jesse and I stayed with that family, protected their house, and throughout that village that day, the people who remember David Fielding's compassion and love the Vietnamese people were saved because of they protected it, like Jesse and I, they protected the other families. And we walked out of the village with very little damage having done to it in avenging David's death. Not long after that, around September 8th exactly, Jesse and I were talking about coming home. I had invited David and Jesse both at one time to come back to Braintree and spend the time with me. I was talking to Jesse on September 8th, 1968. I said, when you get home, he was leaving, he was a short timer at that point. A short timer was someone who had 30 days or less to go in the tour of the year. And he was getting ready to go home. And I was giving him my phone number in Braintree. I said, I want you to call my folks when you get home and tell them I'll be home soon and we could hang out together. And he said something to me that I'll never forget. He said, do you mean that black guys and white guys can walk down the streets of your town together? I was pretty upset about that, thinking that he was fighting for a country that wouldn't let him walk down the street with certain people. And I guaranteed him that we would do that.
On Tuesday night, the Town Council met at Braintree Town Hall to approve the fiscal year 2027 operating budget. During the public hearing before the vote, the council allowed Mayor Joyce to say a few words. Here's more from Mayor Joyce.
I have just a couple comments to make this evening before I open it up to public comment and council comment. But I want to start by thanking this evening our Committee on Ways and Means, Chairwoman Baraka, members Councillor Reynolds, Councillor Maglio, Councillor Flaherty, and Councillor Sterling. Thank you so much for all the time that you put into reviewing the budget. I also want to extend my thanks to all of my department heads who participated. Many of them are here this evening, so I want to thank them for their time on that. It's a lot of work that goes into reviewing the budget and asking the questions to the department heads. I also want to offer a lot of thanks to our finance director, Mike Esmond, who really helped pull this all together for us, and of course, the town's auditor, Sean McGoldrick, who sits alongside you all and responds to questions in support of the budget process. So thank you so much. I'm really proud to be here before the council. This is my third budget. I can't believe it. I think our budget this year is forward-looking, strategic, goal-focused, and responsible. And it begins on July 1st of 2026. Once again, my budget plans for the upcoming years, but also plans for the upcoming year, but also sets sight on the forecast for the next 3 years. So this year, during budget season, we get to see a sneak peek at projections through fiscal year 2030. The punchline is, as I've shared in the past, and as you all know all too well, we have some challenges. So while fiscal year 2030 feels a long way away, we have our eyes on it because we do project an operational gap that we're going to have to continue to talk about and work on. But we're certainly confident in our ability to manage through and be ready with honest and transparent conversations with our residents and the council in the years ahead. So as we continue to stare down the prospect of future funding deficits that may only be covered by reductions to service, overrides, debt exclusions, all things we want to talk about transparently, but we're not rushing to that conclusion just yet. And we know that we have a very capable team working hard to solve a very complex puzzle of revenue and spending.
To watch the rest of the annual town meeting and Memorial Day event, tune into BCAM TV Government Channel, Channel 8 on Comcast, and Channel 26 on Verizon. And check out our YouTube page at youtube.com/BCAMTV. An MBTA train struck a car in Braintree last Saturday, shutting down roadways for hours. Transit Police Superintendent Richard Sullivan said that a 58-year-old man driving a black Jeep Cherokee on West Street intentionally drove around the crossing guards at the Grove Street crossing as the train was approaching. The man was pronounced dead at the scene, and his identity is not being released at this time. Transit officials said the guard's safety arms were deployed at the time and all other safety warnings were activated. No passengers were hurt in the crash, but 74 passengers on board the commuter rail train were escorted from the train to a waiting bus. Transit police, along with the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office, are investigating the facts and circumstances surrounding the crash. In some sad news here in Braintree, the Braintree Fire Department and community are mourning the loss of Lieutenant Paul Smith, who died after a courageous and hard-fought battle with occupational cancer. Fire officials say Lieutenant Smith was a respected leader and served as a former Union president and fire lieutenant. They say he was known not just for his leadership, but for the compassion he showed every day. The Braintree Fire Department is extending its deepest condolences to his family, friends, and all those he impacted. Lieutenant Smith will leave behind a lasting legacy in the Braintree community. A Braintree tradition rooted in history will continue this summer. The town is preparing for its annual inspection of the Braintree Time Capsule on July 4th as part of Independence Day celebrations. Officials will check the condition of the capsule and share an update with the public. The time capsule is housed inside an 800-pound steel container protected by a stone cairn. It holds memorabilia from the nation's bicentennial in 1976, including letters, photographs, and other historical items. The capsule is filled with argon gas to help preserve its contents. It is not set to be opened until Braintree's tricentennial celebration in 2076. Braintree residents will have a chance to clear out old electronics and give back to the community later this month. The annual Electronic Waste Day is set for Saturday, May 30th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at 74 Pond Street. The event, hosted by the Braintree Rotary Club, allows residents to safely recycle household electronics while helping support local programs. Officials say the event also helps keep harmful materials out of the environment. For those with larger items, local pickup is available starting 1 week before the event by calling 781-917-4765. Organizers will also be accepting donations for the Marge Crispin Center, including hygiene products, pet food, and breakfast cereals. The event is open to Braintree's residents and neighboring communities, but is limited to household electronics only. Thank you for watching Braintree Today on BCAM TV. We'll be right back with more stories in the area. Welcome back to Braintree Today. Now let's get right into more stories. A Boston firefighter has died after a fall during a fire in Dorchester. Officials say 24-year veteran Robert Kilduff Jr. was responding to a 3-alarm fire on Treadway Road Saturday night. Crews had brought the fire under control when a mayday call was issued after Kilduff fell from the 3rd floor of the home. He suffered severe injuries and was taken to Boston Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead. Fire officials say Kilduff was a dedicated firefighter who also served in the U.S. Marines. City leaders, including Michelle Wu, are extending their condolences to his family and the fire department. Governor Maura Healey has ordered flags to be lowered to half-staff in his honor. Kilduff leaves behind 2 children. Foxborough High School was vandalized during an overnight break-in on May 20th. Police say dozens of high school-aged individuals were involved. Officials say about 24 people gathered outside the school, throwing toilet paper across the front of the building. 8 of those individuals then broke into the school and even climbed onto the roof. Authorities say multiple acts of vandalism occurred inside before alarms were triggered and police responded. One suspect was taken into custody at the scene. School officials called the incident criminal and dangerous, saying it was not a harmless prank. Police are asking anyone with information to come forward. Police in Kingston arrested an 18-year-old from Randolph after an incident outside a high school prom. Officials responded to the Indian Pond Country Club last Thursday around 7:15 p.m. for reports of a disturbance during South Shore Technical High School's prom. Police say the suspect, who was not a known student but was known to attendees, got into an argument with 2 students in the parking lot. The situation escalated and the suspect allegedly threatened a student and displayed a firearm. Authorities say he pointed the gun into the air and appeared to load it before fleeing the scene. Police later located the suspect at his home in Randolph, where he surrendered without incident. No injuries were reported, and the investigation is ongoing. The Massachusetts Senate is preparing to take up a major bill aimed at regulating social media use. Senate President Karen Spilka says lawmakers are forming a 6-person committee to work out details of the proposal. The bill builds on a measure passed by the House that would ban social media use for children under 14 and require parental consent for users aged 14 and 15. It also includes a ban on cell phones in schools. Governor Maura Healey has proposed additional rules that would limit features considered addictive and set a 2-hour daily limit for users under 18. Lawmakers have until July 31st to pass major legislation or move it into further review. A Quincy chef is making waves on national television. Lawrence Louie, owner of Roboto on Hancock Street, is set to appear on the Food Network's Beat Bobby Flay. The episode is set to air Thursday, May 28th at 9 p.m. Louie will compete for a chance to take on celebrity chef Bobby Flay with cash prizes on the line. This comes as Louie continues his run on Bravo's Top Chef, where he has made it to the Final 4. Louie opened Roboto in Quincy in 2022 and has quickly gained recognition for his Hong Kong-style cafe. He has also previously won the Food Network's competition show Chopped. Locals will be watching closely as the South Shore chef takes on one of the biggest names in the food world. Thank you for tuning into Braintree Today. We'll be right back with more on entertainment. The Massachusetts Breast Cancer Coalition is hosting its annual Against the Tide Swim, Run, and Walk fundraiser to support breast cancer prevention. The event brings together participants of all ages to raise awareness and funds through fitness and community participation. 2 in-person events are scheduled this summer. The first will take place Saturday, June 20th at Hopkinton State Park in Hopkinton. The second event will be held Saturday, June 27th at Nickerson State Park in Brewster on Cape Cod. Participants can also choose a virtual option anytime between June 20th and June 27th. Participants can take part in a variety of activities depending on their interests and ability level. Events include a USATF certified 5 and 10 kilometer runs, a 1-mile competitive swim, half-mile and 1-mile recreational swims, and a 3-mile fitness walk. Registration for the event is open now. For more information or to sign up, visit mbcc.org/againstthetide. Welcome back to Braintree Today. Now here are some new movies and shows that have been creating some social buzz. First, I Love Boosters follows a group of shoplifters who take aim at a cutthroat fashion maven by stealing her clothes and reselling them at a lower price, what they call fashion-forward philanthropy. The film stars Keke Palmer and Lakeith Stanfield. You can watch I Love Boosters now in theaters. Up next, Ladies First follows Damien, a chauvinistic advertising executive who hits his head and wakes up in a parallel world dominated by women. He must now navigate a gender-flipped society where he experiences the same sexism he once inflicted on his female colleagues. The film stars Sacha Baron Cohen and Rosamund Pike. You can watch Ladies First now on Netflix. Finally, Apex follows Sasha, a grieving rock climber who retreats to the wilderness for a solo kayaking trip. Her peaceful isolation quickly turns into a brutal fight for survival when she crosses paths with a ruthless local who hunts her for sport. The film stars Charlize Theron and Taron Egerton. You can watch Apex now on Netflix. Thank you for watching Braintree Today on BCAM TV. Don't forget you can watch us on Verizon in HD on channel 2128 and Comcast on channel 1073. I'm Sarah Hamilton, and we'll see you next time.